So I, 18 male, live with my grandparents right now. I turned 18 a few weeks ago and chose to move out of my dad's house. Things are not so good between us. We lost our mom when I was 7 and my brother was 6. Dad remarried within a year of mom dying and moved stepmom in with us after 7 months. Right when that was about to happen, he sat us down. He told us he wanted to make our home a happy one, that having pictures and mom's stuff around would make him sad and make his wife and her children unhappy and make them feel like they weren't welcome. He wanted them to feel welcome, so he wanted us to be okay with giving all that stuff to our mom's parents. My brother cried and I asked if we couldn't keep some pictures. Dad told us he wanted us to get on board and wanted them gone for the sake of the new family. We gave in because we felt like we had no choice. My brother told Dad it made him sad. Dad said he didn't want that, but he did want us to be okay with it someday. When Dad's wedding came up, he said he wanted us to hold hands with our step-siblings and he wanted us to present a united front as a family. I told him no way. He told me kids sometimes have to do stuff they don't want because their parents want them to do it and would make others happy. So we did that. Then he wanted us to stop talking about mom so much. Stepmom felt we were trying to tell her she wasn't our new mom. Her kids felt like we were excluding them from stuff. So he emphasized what he wanted a lot with that. A lot of stuff has come up where he wanted us to do something or change things from being willing to babysit to wanting me to do family trees with the current family instead of my actual family, meaning including mom but not including steps. He'd always go either firm or lay on a guilt trip. It meant my brother and I had a lot of hard feelings, especially about pretending the step-family was a true nuclear family without missing people. We're the only kids who didn't fully blend. Stepmom was a step-siblings were steps, and half-siblings were half. Our step-siblings called Dad their dad, us their brothers, and never ever said half. They even said they don't care if their bio-dad ever gets mentioned because he's just a stranger who died. So we all did a bunch of family therapy to fix my brother and me and fix us all into the perfect nuclear family. It didn't work, and my brother and I didn't suddenly feel like we were just a family. Dad didn't like it, and when I moved out, he was extra unhappy, especially because my brother wanted to move with me. He wanted us to do therapy again and told me he didn't want me to be one of those kids who moved out immediately. I told him I didn't need fixing and that he needed to accept he couldn't always get what he wanted. Dad told me it's not all about the kids and I selfishly never wanted him to be happy and for us to have a new family. Am I the idiot? Your dad didn't give you and your brother the opportunity to grieve. Instead, he took away your memories of your mom and forced a new insta-family on you. He never listened to you and your brother saying you weren't happy with all this. Your dad is the idiot here. Ironic that he's calling OP selfish, as every action on Dad's part was incredibly selfish. Don't talk about mom because it bums me out. Play nice because I want to make my new family comfortable. Do this to make me happy. It's never a child's job to make their parent happy. Quite the opposite. Dad sounds emotionally immature and now he's lost a relationship with his sons. Yeah, OP should tell the dad he failed with his old family and he can just enjoy his time with his new family that he badly wanted. Hope brother can get out of there soon too. I straight up tell him he's a failure as a parent and a failure as a human being and I'd hope to never see him again. Anyone who abuses you by trying to erase a parent because it's inconvenient to them deserves complete social ostracism. And the stepmother has to be equally as terrible to have gone along with it, so she isn't worth a plug nickel either. Your father is trying to weaponize his very specific choice of therapy to force you into the box that he feels you should fit into. Therapy, in his eyes, is likely trying to get a professional to tell you to shut up and colour in the situation at hand. That said, I would encourage you to look into actual therapy of your own accord, personally, and not involving anyone else. Wish you the absolute best of luck. My fiancée Jen and I have been together for 6 years now and I wanted a dog 2 years ago. There have been some unforeseen issues surrounding this because the dog has some behaviour issues that Jen doesn't like at all, and there have been some conflicting opinions on what's acceptable and what isn't. I admittedly am a lot more of a dog person than she is. I have a lot more patience and I don't see the problem with the things she does. I don't mind the dog sleeping on the bed, but Jen refuses to allow it because she doesn't want the dog on her when she's trying to sleep. Or I don't think that table scraps are bad and will sometimes give the dog some, but Jen outright refuses because she fully believes it's enforcing begging behaviour, which she finds insufferable. She won't let the dog in the kitchen when she's cooking and doesn't want the dog near her when she's eating because of the begging and whining that sometimes comes along with it. And lastly, the big one, she doesn't want the dog on her under any circumstances. She's grown to not show my dog any affection because my dog wants kisses and will put her forehead to yours whenever she's in your lap. It's the only way my dog will sit, and I will admit the dog wants to be held like this frequently. So Jen won't even show her affection because she absolutely hates the dog in her face, and she's told me several times I need to stop giving in and allowing the dog on my lap every single time she tries because I'm enforcing codependency. As you can see, conflicting opinions. Anyways, Jen just got herself something to eat. My dog was lying in the kennel, but as soon as she saw Jen's food, she came out and stretched big while staring at Jen. She then started sniffing the air while simply looking in Jen's direction, and while she did inch closer, she didn't get too close. She just sat down and watched Jen eat. Jen then rolls her eyes and fully turns herself around so the dog can't watch her, which, whatever. But then the dog started whining and wanted me to pick her up and was still staring at Jen, so I said, "Oh, Mama doesn't want the poor doggo to have any yummy foods." The dog then jumped from my lap and moved to a position where she could watch Jen. Before I could even say anything to correct the dog, Jen said, "You have about 2 damn seconds to get your dog away from me and stop enforcing the behaviors you know I hate, or I'm gone." I told her she was a stupid psycho for treating the dog like this, and if she just waited 2 damn seconds, I would have gotten the dog from her. Instead, she got up, threw her food away, and locked herself away in our shared bedroom and will not come out. Am I the idiot? I'm so sick and tired of all the coddlers who treat their dogs like damn people. It's an animal. It's your inferior. It's your job to train it to behave, or everyone else will be worse off. You are the idiot, OP. Your fiancé didn't just blow up on you the first time it happened. You were well aware of her feelings and ignored them, causing her to blow up. You baby talked to the pup when she was already annoyed, further upsetting her, and deliberately moved the dog so it was back in front of her at eye level when the whole point of her turning around in the first place was so she didn't have to look at it. I'm a dog person and love my dogs. OP's different viewpoint is the wrong viewpoint. The whole guilt your partner using the doggo voice thing is pretty damn childish as well. Giving a dog table scraps, encouraging begging, and encouraging behaviour you know your fiancé hates is a good way to get rid of your fiancé. Calling her a psycho means she's probably leaving. I think you'll have to choose between your dog and your girlfriend if she hasn't decided to end things already. At least you found out about your incompatibilities before the wedding. Update, she just handed me her ring, said she saw the post and made the decision, and left after saying she was getting a U-Haul to move her crap. Whatever. OMG, apparently it's whatever, so I guess OP didn't care about her that much. Like he didn't drive her nuts and ignore her valid concerns. Like she's not justified in dumping him for his continued disrespect of her and then calling her a stupid psycho. Yikes. He just wanted to be told he was right. I bet to throw it in her face. Good call, Jen. This idiot does not respect you whatsoever. My male 28 wife Sandra, 27, and her family are from Spain. Her parents and her 3 siblings, Ricardo, Anna and Bruno, live here in the US too with their respective families. Everyone but Bruno, who's the youngest, is married. As they're from a different culture, they do some stuff that we would consider weird in America, one of which is giving a kiss on the cheek as a hi. I've grown used to doing it, so I don't mind it until now. Around 2 months ago, maybe a bit more, Bruno called the whole family to tell us he was gay. I congratulated Bruno, as did everyone else. We had a good time with family after that, but this is when my problem came. Bruno said in front of everyone that if I wasn't married to his sister, he would jump on me. Everyone laughed, but it was certainly uncomfortable for me. Later, he doubled down by saying I have a cute butt. Might I add that Anna's husband was there too, and Bruno said nothing to him, only me. When Sandra and I came back home, I tried speaking about how uncomfortable his joke had made me feel, but she just brushed me off by saying that Bruno always jokes like that. She doesn't see why now is different. The next time we saw each other, soon after that because their family is very close, was at our home. Bruno had come to pick up my eldest 2 kids to take them to a baseball game. When I opened the door, Bruno said hi and leaned in to kiss me. I realised now that he kissed me too close to my lips rather than my cheek. After that, wherever we saw each other, I just kind of pretended to be sick or to be busy so I could just shake his hand as a hi. Apparently, Bruno had noticed this because yesterday my wife approached me and asked me if Bruno had done something to make me angry at him. She told me Bruno has seen me off every time he's near and wants to know if he should apologise or something. I told her the same thing I told her before, plus the kiss thing. She told me I was exaggerating. Bruno was just joking and such. I've tried telling her it feels very weird that my brother-in-law, keyword brother, would tell me he likes me and would pursue a relationship with me if I wasn't already family. I've tried saying that I can't talk to Bruno about this, but she told me not to do it. She told me that if those were my reasons for not giving him a kiss, then I was an idiot and she'll make up a lie for Bruno. She also told me she was very disappointed. Am I wrong here? Not the idiot. If Bruno was straight and you were a woman, we wouldn't even be asking. He's harassing you. And I would change the way you frame it. You started distancing yourself from Bruno once he started making unwanted intimate advances toward you. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Agree, it's not a joke if everyone isn't laughing. I bet they would have a problem if you said something like that to Anna, but it's okay for Bruno to talk like that to you. Also, just because people from a culture perform introductions by kissing on the cheek, doesn't mean you have to be okay with this and go along with it. It's funny, I was just having this conversation with someone yesterday. I have a lot of gay friends and will stand up for LGBT rights any day, any time. That being said, I have noticed a few, not a lot, but a few of my gay male friends have made it their mission to sleep with a straight man. When I called them out on it, they tried to claim I was phobic. Boy no, it's idiots like them that give the gay community a terrible name. I find their actions no different than a guy being aggressive or inappropriate to a woman. Needless to say, I've stopped being friends with them. I, male 30, have a daughter, young teen. I'm a single dad and it's always been just her and me. My daughter, due to health issues, has always dealt with a lot of joint pain, which is a difficult thing to deal with at such a young age, and it's challenging seeing my daughter in chronic pain. We are watching my sister's dog, who is a high-energy golden retriever. This morning my daughter was playing with the dog, not just throwing a toy or something, but full-on roughhousing with the dog. I saw right away that her doing this wouldn't end well for my daughter, so I warned my daughter that playing with the dog like that probably won't be the best idea and told her she'll probably be in pain later, so she better stop. She told me she'll be fine. After that, I told her she better stop because I didn't see a good outcome. She ignored me, so I let her roughhouse with the dog, which went on for over an hour. When my daughter was done, I could tell she was feeling some pain already. She didn't complain throughout the day, but it was very clear she was in pain, specifically a more intense pain after playing with the dog. My mum came over to visit and saw my daughter clearly in pain, and usually, when my daughter has more difficult days with managing her pain, I make sure she's comfortable and just to try to make her feel better. Well, today my daughter wasn't willing to tell me she was in pain, so I wasn't about to start comforting her if she was trying to act like everything was fine. I explained that to my mom and she got upset and told me I needed to grow up and stop being a stubborn idiot just because my daughter didn't listen to me. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. For Pete's sake, your daughter wanted to play with a dog. My heart aches for your daughter that such a simple joy as playing with a dog causes her significant pain. Would it really be so awful to show empathy and care for her when you can tell she's in pain even if she doesn't say it? It seems like you were withholding comfort from her until she gave you the "I told you so" moment you were looking for. I was the kid with chronic pain. It was so hard. You just want to do normal things, but you pay for them every time. Sometimes you do them anyway, even if rationally it might not be wise because you have to get joy somewhere. Living with chronic pain can be a really difficult and frankly depressing existence. Be kind to your daughter. Boy, you really know how to suck the joy out of a moment. She can still learn her lesson and feel loved and supported at the same time. You just go hug her and tell her with love, compassion and a bit of humour, you played a little rough, huh? She's young and just wanted to feel normal for a little while, even if she knew she'd pay for it later. It's not rational, but again, she's young and has to deal with this, and a stubborn know-it-all father. Even if you comfort her, she's still being punished. She's in pain. I live near my college with 2 roommates in an apartment, Emily and Kate. We're all 20s and female. The conflict is mainly between Emily and me. So for context, my mom and I call each other every day, and usually a couple of times a day. It's nothing major. I call her when I'm walking back from one of my classes, she calls me when she's making lunch, I call her before I go to bed, etc. The calls combined aren't ever more than 30 minutes. It's mainly just to check in with each other in our spare time. She doesn't go crazy if I don't call at all. She just assumes I'm busy and we text each other good night. My roommate Emily always had something to say about it, and I always brushed it off because she's also my friend, so I just assumed it was her being annoying for fun. Anyway, she tells me, It's really weird you still call your mom every day. It's like you have some unresolved issues or something. I look at her and point out that she hasn't spoken to her parents since we've been back in school from winter break and hasn't seen them in over 3 months. I say, if anything, you might have some mommy issues since you've been ignoring her for 3 months now. Now both she and Kate, who's always been closer to Emily than me, are saying that I overstepped and people can have different relationships with their parents. But in my head, if they say that, she doesn't have to comment that I call my mom too much. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. They opened the door to this convo by commenting on your relationship with your mother. It's hypocritical for them to be upset when you comment on her relationship with her mother. And I'm no therapist, but it sure sounds like your relationship with your mom is healthier than Emily's for sure. If I didn't talk to my parents for about 3 weeks, they would call me to make sure I wasn't dead or arrested. 3 months is nuts. Agree, Emily definitely isn't fine with that low amount of contact because she would have just gone about her day with a different strokes mindset. Instead, she went out of her way to try to convince OP that her closeness with her mom is wrong and that something is wrong with her and to be more like her. Emily wants OP's relationship with her mom to mirror her own so she can be convinced her own lack of relationship with her parents is right, so she doesn't have to feel bad about it. It's actually sad since she could easily use that energy to get their relationship to a level of contact that actually makes her happy. Instead, she's just trying to convince the rest of the world that they're wrong and she's right and normal. Not the idiot, and you're lucky to have a relationship like that with your mom.